Hey everybody, welcome back to the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. My name is Scott. If you're already a subscriber and supporter of my channel, thank you so much for all of your support. If you're new to this channel and you're looking for reviews of different whiskeys such as bourbons, ryes, American style whiskeys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also make sure to hit the bell notification. That's going to simply alert you to when I'm doing new uploads, live streams, things along those lines. Also, if you're interested in supporting the channel, you can through my Patreon page, which I'll have linked in the description below. So today from LuxCo Distillery, we've got the David Nicholson Reserve. But before we get into the review, roll that intro. So today from LuxCo Distillery, we've got the David Nicholson Reserve. A little bit of information regarding this. So mash bill on this was basically undisclosed. However, they do have it labeled as corn, rye, and malt or malted barley. So MSRP on this right around that $40 range. Proof, 100 proof or 50% ABV. This is, as far as we know, a source product, thought to be sourced from Heaven Hill, just because of the relationship that they've had going back several years. Again, from LuxCo Distillery, MSRP on this right around that $40 range. This one's a little bit more difficult to find. There is another kind of white label, and I believe it's like an 1846 release, something along those lines. But that one's a little more readily available than the Reserve is. But yeah, so anyway, so like I try to do with really all of my videos, we'll go through the appearance, we'll go through the nosing, the tasting, then we'll get through the finish part of it, and then kind of really go through any general information regarding the product itself or the channel. So why don't we go ahead and we'll kind of get into the review. So again, this is the David Nicholson Reserve 100 proof. All right, so as you can see, kind of like a light copper, darker type of honey color to that. So, all right, let's get into the nose here. So right away you're getting hit with, a little bit of corn that's there. This is a straight bourbon whiskey, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey as well. But you're getting a lot of that corn that's kind of coming through. Some butterscotch is there. Some oak. This is believed to be in that 6 to 7 year range as well, from kind of some of the research I was able to kind of do before. Some dark fruits are really kind of wanting to come through. And then there's that kind of classic nuttiness that wants to kind of come through a lot of times in a lot of the kind of Heaven Hill type of products. And with this thought to be sourced from Heaven Hill, that would kind of make sense. But there's starting to be a little bit of that nuttiness kind of coming through. A little bit of cinnamon. That oak is kind of really starting to come through a little bit more now. Yeah, nice kind of classic or standard, bourbon nose to that. So, all right, let's get into the taste. Cheers. So like anything, anytime you're getting into tasting anything to try to develop the taste or kind of, what it is that you're tasting on your palate, give it a couple sips. You'll get through, some of the burn, kind of get your palate coated a little bit. Just prepare a little bit more for really what it is you're about ready to taste. So right up front, you get hit with a fairly strong amount of oak on this one. There's that nuttiness there, not overly dominating like normal. Some of the, again, classic bourbon notes. There's that vanilla, that caramel that's there. Little bit of leather that's there. That nuttiness is really kind of starting to come through now as things really start to, coat the mouth a little bit more. Mouthfeel wise, a little bit thin. Doesn't want to, cover the full palate or anything. So, it's one you probably have to chew on a little bit in order to pull out some of the flavors. Give it some time to kind of develop a little bit. And again, once you get beyond the second, third sip, the heat isn't really there as much anymore, but a heavy amount of oak, that leather, slight amount of citrus to it. That nuttiness or like a peanut flavor is really kind of wanting to come through now, but the dryness really starts to kind of take over. Kind of about the mid palate, you're really starting to pick up that heavy oak and leather kind of presence to it. You start to also get, I would say, as the finish kind of develops, a little bit more of the vanilla that's wanting to kind of start to really kind of come through a little bit on it, but very, very dry for the most part. Here's what I'd say about this one. From a classic bourbon note standpoint, a lot of those influences are there. A little heavier on the oak side, a little drier than normal. So if you like something that's a little oakier, a little bit drier, a little bit of nuttiness to it, some of the vanilla kind of starts to come through. If that's something that fits your profile, then I think this would be something that you'd really enjoy. Now, for me, sitting down with something that's super, oaky or dry isn't always something I want every night, but on occasion, you kind of are in the mood for that. But I would say with something like this, if you paired this with kind of like a nice cigar or something, I think it would kind of hold up, really well. That oakiness is there. There's still a little bit of sweetness. But yeah, really nice, again, not overly complex bourbon or anything along those lines, but some good, overall bourbon profile. And again, like I said before, if you like a little bit of that nuttiness, that dryness, the oak that's there, this would be a really nice bourbon for you. So again, David Nicholson Reserve, produced by LuxCo Distillery. Again, 100 proof, non-age stated, right around that $40 range. So again, if it's something that fits your profile, take a look and see if it's something you can find. So anyway, like, subscribe, leave some comments. You can also find me on Instagram at My Bourbon Journey. You can find me on Twitter, basically the same thing. If you type in My Bourbon Journey, that will pop up as well. If you want to, again, contribute to the channel, feel free to do so. Everything is appreciated. You can through my Patreon page, which again, I'll have linked in the description below. So with that being said, like I say, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers.